Hey guys, Dr. Frunkey here. My first YouTube video. I'm going to discuss this knife here, the Spyderco Nirvana. It's a collaboration with custom knife maker Peter Rizzenti out of Canada. It's an awesome knife. 4.2 inch handle, 3.75 inch blade, CPM S90V titanium integral frame lock. Very nice knife from Spyderco. Very happy to have this in my collection. I actually obtained this from Peter Rizzenti himself. He had a small batch of these shipped to him, and he offered them on his Instagram. I messaged him, and he made it simple, and he was very polite the whole time. So thank you, Mr. Rizzenti, for the opportunity to own this wonderful knife. When I got the knife, my first impressions were very positive. This knife had been discussed for a very long time in the forums and online and in videos, and everyone was hoping that Spyderco would execute this perfectly, and I think that they got pretty darn close. Opened it up, thought, dang, that is just quality. It's got a little bit of a heft to it. It's less than 5 ounces, but it's about maybe 4.8, something like that. And it's got some heft, but it feels like quality. And when it locks up, you heard it just then. I didn't flick it open on purpose. I wanted to just let you hear that lockup. Oh, it's almost like a bank vault, like a Chris Reeve solidity. Yeah, really nice sounding. So I was very impressed straight out of the box. I think that everything about this knife was well done. I knew exactly what I was getting. I had seen the pictures and seen the forum posts, and so I wasn't expecting anything differently. You know, in fact, the one thing that did impress me was that early picture showed a pin hole here, and it was obvious that it was just a pin that had been placed there. And even in his customs, he's got that, but that's gone, guys. That's not there. I think that they press fit that stop bar in there. I'm not sure. Can you see it back there? Not really. Or they milled it out of the titanium, which would be even more impressive. Anyways, it's not there. It's even cleaner than the prototype pictures. That's awesome to me. So, first impressions, good. Let's break down the knife here into its components. Let's start with this blade. It's a big chunk of CPM S90V finished in a stonewashed, sort of very heavy stonewash, maybe bead blasted stonewash, acid stonewash. I don't even know what to call it, guys. You tell me. They don't really describe it well. But it's a working finish. It's sort of meant to not show a lot of wear and tear. I think, though, that this finish absolutely fails in that regard, honestly, for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to talk about that. I use this knife. I carry it frequently, a couple of times a week at least, and I use it every time I carry it. I'm cutting something, paper, cardboard, packages, rope, clothing, you know, different things depending on what I'm doing during that day as it relates to my work. The blade itself cuts really well. It came very sharp. The edge is very toothy. That's a description that people say is the best profile for an S90V blade. Not a really high polish finish, but rather a very toothy blade. And it feels like a trillion little saw blades obliterating through anything that this cuts, and it does cut very well. The blade profile is a sort of low flat grind, and then this large flat area here, that means that it's a pretty thick blade. Look at this. That also means it's not the greatest slicer, so this will not perform well in your food prep uses or for any real fine cutting tasks. In fact, it doesn't really even open mail particularly well because of its thickness. But what you have to do is just appreciate this knife for what it actually is, and it is more of a technical exercise and showpiece than a true worker's knife. Peter Rizzenti's customs cost upward of $1,200, and he doesn't really I think, design his knives to be used in a way that would really damage them or hurt them. So this is carrying over from that design philosophy. So if you buy it, you just have to understand what it's intended to be used for, and that's for some random everyday carry activities and to be a showpiece. So with that in mind, I'm not disappointed by that. That finish, again, creates a very porous surface. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it well, but yeah, maybe right there. There's a small spot. That was rust on an S90V blade. An S90V has, very high corrosion resistance. If you look at it compared to some others, it's better, supposed to be better than S30, S35, and some of those others that are pretty darn stainless. But this finish, I wore it one day, it got really sweaty, and I cleaned it off, but it still generated a little spot. The next morning, it was sitting there staring me in the face. I had to clean it off. A little disappointed about that. I wish that they had done a machine satin, really and truly. A machine satin, not unlike what they've just executed in their Maximet mule here. Man, on that, that would have been incredible. That mule is for another video. Stay tuned and like and subscribe if you want to see it. So that's my gripe with the blade. Moving on to the pivot, they did a ball bearing pivot. Its opening and closing action is very smooth. Just flies out. You can hear that lock up. I'll have to find a better camera angle next time to maybe show that opening action a little better. There it goes. That's pretty good, huh? It's fast. Detent is present but rather soft, and that's okay. It doesn't come out of the handle at all. No way. The only gripe I have with the pivot is that it's just this plain little screw. At $430, guys, could it have been a screw that sat flush with the frame, was a little bit more decorative, black even, or grayed? It just doesn't, it looks just like a off-the-shelf screw, and I don't think that it really helps the knife. I think they could have improved on that, honestly. Peter Zenti does some very custom, cool pivots. They really should have tried harder on that, but that's okay. I still like the knife. It just makes it a little bit more utilitarian, not so custom and fancy that I'm not going to want to use it. Now, on to the main event, the handle. The thing that everyone was waiting on, the Spyderco integral handle, their first foray into this type of knife making. What is an integral handle? It is a one-piece handle. One piece of titanium was milled out to generate this handle right here. And man, they executed that flawlessly. Their Taichung, Taiwan facility produced this knife, and this is a real tour de force in handle making. Just very impressive. Well done, guys. They milled out the inside, left a very smooth interior. There's not, crazy milling marks or rough edges in there. Then they milled the handle sides. They have rounded all the edges. It's all contoured and chamfered, and many different geometric patterns going on here. Not just simple squares either. I mean, look at what's going on up here. This is not just a block of titanium. They put a lot of thought and effort into that. It's not just a square. This is more of a square back here, but look, this is very impressive. And then there's the finger area here for comfort. You can really hold it there. That's close to the balance point. The balance point is right on the edge of that on the other side. They milled in the frame lock, which has a good amount of tension on it. It takes some breaking in when you first get it. It's going to hurt your thumb. You're going to get a thumb callus. I know you've probably used frame locks a lot in the past, but man, this is really going to give you a workout, okay? Once you get it down, though, it's great. The rest of the design is beautiful. They really just 3D machined this in every single plane. They milled in some jimping on the back. And then they took it off, and then they put that design on there that goes all 360 degrees. And it's awesome. It's very well done. Now, I will discuss the obvious difference between mine and the production model, and that is the pocket clip. I carry my knives typically in the waistband, and that's just the nature of the place that I work and the clothing that I wear when I work there. And for comfort, I need a deep carry clip, because if I'm carrying this knife and that much of it is sticking out, it's going to be poking into my side or my belly or something like that. So I like these deep carry clips. I picked this up on Amazon from Blade for Sale. I'm not getting paid to make this review by anyone, so this is just totally unpaid information here. So how is it for EDC use? I carry this very frequently, and like I said, it's about 4.8 ounces, so it's not the lightest knife in the world, but it's not that heavy. I'm able to carry this most days and barely notice that it's there. Especially with that deep carry clip, it really hides away in either the pocket or the waistband, and carries very smoothly. It's very smooth on these edges here, so it slides in and out of the pocket very easily, very smoothly, nothing catches. And the geometry of the clip means that only this much is sticking out beyond it. The rest of it, it kind of jams it into the corner. Your hand can slide right past it to get it, whatever's in your pocket. Now, I can fit a full-size phone in there. I have a Note 5. They sit side by side, and it's very flush in my pocket. It's great. The knife cuts very well. Like I said earlier, it's not going to be the best slicer because of that blade geometry, but it will cut anything, and it will do so aggressively and repeatedly. And one day I'm going to put a different edge on it when I think that it's a little bit duller, but until then I'm going to keep the factory edge. It seems to be doing pretty well. So in closing, what are my final thoughts on the Spyderco Nirvana? I think it is awesome. It is definitely a keeper. It is definitely a knife that, if you collect pocket knives in any sense and you have the money to do it, if you're a Spyderco fanatic, if you are a guy that sort of samples everything, if you are a guy who collects custom knives, and you have a huge budget, and this is no big deal, I would recommend that you pick this up. It's really nice. I think that you can carry it every day and use it every day, even though it's almost a custom knife. It really is built for utility, and it works. It works well. I think the construction is well done. I applaud Spyderco, and I'm excited to see what they do with this newfound ability in the future, whether they can do some proprietary integrals, or if they introduce some slightly customized versions of the Nirvana. That would be exciting, guys. That'd be really cool. Maybe a different blade presentation. Spyderco, maybe. But those are my thoughts. I wonder if this was helpful to you. If you liked the video, click like, click subscribe, and maybe I'll be doing some more videos in the near future. Thank you guys for watching.